Hello, everybody. Hey, it's Ken Faulkner. Happy Sunday. This is Sunday when I'm filming this thing, and if you were on Zach's live today, I won. I'm like pumped up right now. I made that video yesterday in the morning, just kind of saying, "Oh man, feeling a little down about everything," just because it was in the moment. I was better by the end of the video, and the rest of the day was good. But man, it's nothing like a win to brighten your spirits. And sometimes that's when they come, right? Sometimes it is. All right, we're starting it off at the 220. We got the Kunwu Pulsar. Already checked out the angle on it, and we're at 18 degrees, according to the finder. This thing, it's like you zero it out, and it's a little. You put it on there. Yeah, it's still 18. Okay. Oh no, see, it's popping around. So it's I don't know. It seems to be very. So just don't touch it, but it seems to be a little sensitive. Maybe that's a good thing. But anyway, we got it all nailed down, and I'm trying this different angle. You got the flashlight over the side there. Anyway, different angle. I don't know if I can mess with it. So I'm just trying to make it so I can do this without hitting the camera so much. So I may be off center. Probably am. Yeah, probably. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we can zoom in a little bit. I don't know. I think you get to kind of see everything, zoom out. Let's get to it because we're going to go through this. This one had the, what did I say, B- or something on the cut test. So we're going to start out with the 220. As you can see it right there. 220, 18 degree angle like we showed on the finder. And we're just going to go lightly on it. You always want to be lightly. And this tip was a little bit not so good going through the jeans. So, you got to try to... Zach was just doing this on his live where he had gotten a Spyderco Micro Jimbo, and he was doing a quick little touch up on it. He was saying, you don't want to go past, you don't want to fall off of the tip because you can round it off, and that's something I've heard from several people that I definitely respect. You want to try to keep it all nice and flat all the way through. And I think that at 220, we should get a burr pretty quick. Because, B- is not that bad. It's LMAX steel, good steel. Somebody was saying today that LMAX is like M390. I'm not sure. I can't keep it. There's so many different steels, right? Man, the number of steels that I have in my collection... Because that's kind of what it is for me. Just like different brands, different styles of knives. I really seek out different stuff to have in my collection. And, I get to know a little bit more about them that way. But I just don't, do the research. Sometimes I'll look stuff up, but then I won't retain it. Yeah, just the way my brain works. I'm really much better at looking things up than actually holding on to information. I'm horrible at those. What do you call that? Where they ask you questions, just random stuff. What is that called? At the bar, somebody's answering. I'm never good at that stuff. Where they say, "Who was the actor on this?" or "Who." What state of the union had this happen in this year? I had a hard time with a lot of stuff in history class in high school. Just memorizing stuff was never. And that was when I was way younger, obviously. But I never was great at memorizing for whatever reason. But I've always been pretty good at being able to find information. And I think that's a valuable thing. In fact, a lot of people will come to me You know, they'll come to me and they'll say, "Hey, Ken, off the top of your head," and immediately I'm going, "No, that's not the way it works. Not in this office. Not in my office. It does not work that way." Not got the burr quite yet near the tip. Yeah, but then I'll get on my computer and they have to wait. And I really would just like to teach them. And a lot of times I will. I'll say, "Hey, this is where I go to find this information." But it's funny how a lot of people just don't want to, either they just don't want to learn how to do that, or they don't want to take the time. They just want to go and ask somebody. So, I don't know. So I think it's a good skill. I think it's a real good skill. Little burr. See, it was sharper back here, right? If you saw the cutting video, it was pretty sharp back here. So the burr is definitely obvious. And then you get down here into the belly, and it's a little bit less. So I think I need to work on that area just a little bit more. Once we get it all evened out, then it should, through the grits, be about the same. But you really want to make sure, it's another thing I've heard from a lot of people. I don't claim to be the expert, but I do listen to people that I know are knowledgeable. And they say you really want to get your edge kind of lined up and well formed at the lower grits. And then once you get above that, you don't have to do too much except for just run through, now we're feeling pretty good. Get a good burr and, switch it over and take it out. That feels good now. I think that's good. I think we're on the right track. Got that little spot where you can, the last one that I had didn't really have a great spot for putting the bar when you're switching it over, but this one does have that really nice spot. I think that's things like that are really important. Having this extra stand here, you see this? The stand that you can take in and out. You had to buy that third party on the last one, and a company that will see how people are using their sharpener, their equipment, whatever it is, and they see that people are making stuff up, 3D printing them and stuff like that, to make it a better device. And then they just add it in on their next go around when they upgrade. That is awesome. I mean, I think that's super important. And I know I really appreciate it, but I think people do in general. They appreciate when a company is paying attention. They're not just sitting around going, "Oh, I got the name brand," and so everybody's going to come to me no matter what I do. And I can charge whatever price everybody wants to pay. And if some people complain about, "Hey, we're still getting people buying our stuff," you might know what I'm talking about there. But anyway, it is a business decision, and everybody's in business to make money. But I've always felt like, and when I work with customers at my work, I'm always thinking that a happy customer is a customer for life. And I'm the same way. If you give me good customer service, man, I'm going to go out of my way to buy your products. And that's just the way it is. And I tell my kids, well, I did back before they really grew up to be adults. I say, when you get up into the workforce, just be a decent person. Treat people well. Always be willing to do excuse me, do whatever they ask you to do, even if it's maybe isn't you don't want to be going out to get their laundry or something like that. I don't think in the old days, I guess that used to be a thing. And actually in my office sometimes it's stuff like that. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. Sometimes you see people doing stuff like that, and I don't think there's any place for that in the workplace. But regardless of that, I would never ask somebody in my office to, go take my car and get it washed. Even though I'm a manager of some people, in fact, I would never ask them to do something I wasn't willing to do myself. And I think that's another good trait. But, you know, that's just me. And maybe I'm just way off. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not like in top management. Because some of those corporate people seem to be a little bit more like that. Anyway, we're not talking about knives now, right? We're just going off on life. So, yeah, I'm feeling the burr. Feeling it good up here near the corner. To the tip. Corner. That's funny. I got my my blade all... Every time I go to put one in, I'm hoping that it'll go well in the clamp. And this one seems to fit just really nice because it has that little flat area. It doesn't have to have a flat area, but I think it helps to keep it nice and even in the clamp. I think I need a little more burr down here. Again, it's a little extra love near the tip, so to speak. I guess that's what, you know, a lot of people would say, that's what she said or whatever. I don't know. I'm not. I've never been the kind of guy to throw those kind of comments around, but you know, it's funny when people do it. But I don't know, maybe back in junior high, but that was a long time ago. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna give it a little. Oopsie, I slipped off. That's not good. I got to be more careful. You don't want to round that tip. I mean, that even includes the tips on the secondary tip on a Tonto blade. Now we got it. Okay, so I think we're good. I'm gonna flip it and we're gonna take off the burr with a couple times through, and then we're gonna switch up to the next grit. Hopefully this doesn't take too long because I'm going all the way through this time, and we're at 12 minutes already. So I might end up pausing through some of it, because it's a lot of the same, and then I'm just going to babble on about, you know, my beliefs on life and stuff like that. I don't know if that's what we all want to hear. So the burr's off. I feel a little bit on the backside, just a tiny bit. Like I always say, I am not the expert, but I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to get better at it. I figure the more I do, I really want to get into freehanding more so. Right now, I kind of use that for like cheaper knives and my kitchen knives that are not. I don't really have high-end kitchen knives, which is kind of odd. You'd think a knife collector would be buying those real high-end kitchen knives, right? Okay, it feels pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and swap out the 220 with the 320, and we'll go through this a little bit. And like I say, if I'm going to pause for enough time, but this actually will go quicker. Won't really do as many passes with the 320, so maybe we can keep it all on here. I don't know. So those of you that are more expert, you definitely might see me not do the best thing. Feel free to leave me a comment to let me know, because I am open to hearing some critique, right? Not necessarily just putting me down for not being the world's biggest expert, because I never claimed to be that. But you know, if you got some tips for me, definitely if you want to share. Or if you think I'm just hopeless, then, you know, that's fine too. Nice and even all the way down. Great. I'm gonna flip it. I think that hand sharpening is the way to go. Like, it's almost like an artist thing. And you can really get into some detail, because this is very fixed. I think that even sometimes people will adjust their sharpening a little bit depending on the area of the knife. I know when they measure behind the edge, sometimes it's thinner in certain areas and thicker in certain areas, and maybe that's the way they're sharpening it that causes that to happen. It also could be the way the blade was made. I really don't know for sure. But yeah, all this stuff is just very interesting to me. Watching Sawtooth Dave this morning. If you're not on Barefoot Bruisers, give it a shot. I mean, I know it's not for everybody. I geek out on the stuff he's doing, but he's making knives now. He's going further and further into making knives, and he's pretty much kind of getting into the full-blown knife making now. And he's got tons of experience with machining, which is huge for knife making. And so I just love to hear his process. I can relate to it from a designer point of view. I loved it back in the day when right now we work in an office and we're separated from our manufacturing. But when I could go out and talk to the machinists and the welders and all that, and even worked with them when I was in the test department, those were the great days. I mean, and unfortunately, the guys that work with me now, I'm 36 years with the company, and a lot of these people have never experienced that, and I feel bad for them because they're missing out on an experience that I was able to, learn from, and they don't really have the same opportunity, unfortunately, because man, people who build stuff, they're really they have a whole different outlook on work. They're physically making stuff. I'm on the computer. I'm doing 3D stuff, and I'm making it on the computer, and that's fun. And I tell everybody it's like playing video games all day. Okay, I think we're ready to go to the next grip. But it's not the same as actually physically making stuff. And the art that's in that, like the welders. I don't know if you ever worked in manufacturing with people that do welding, and you see it because, of course, I'm designing stuff. So for me, it's kind of like my baby. I still get to get out there once in a while, but not as often as I would because our manufacturing is so far away. But when you see, and the welds are just so cleanly done, it's kind of like a clean edge on a knife. So cleanly done, like they make these little waves in the welds, and it looks so good. And when it's done clean, and there's no things looking really ugly or like some slag sticking out, that's all that kind of stuff is so impressive when they can do it right. And same thing with the machining. And hearing about the machining, he was talking today about, he's just kind of getting into the depths of some of this stuff, and he's realizing that from his experience that there's certain operations that he needs to do, and so he needs to actually make tooling, and that is very common from what I've seen. And so he's talking about that, and I geek out on it. I think it's very cool, and I love the thought process. And I would love to make knives. I don't know if that I ever will, but it would be so much fun. But there certainly is a knack and experience that you need, and it'd be fun just to make a knife, just to make one, even if it was ugly and a lot of imperfections and stuff like that. But I think it would be fun as heck to do something like that. I'm trying to do it on the off hours on computer. I'll probably whenever I finally get a sticker done, what I'm going to do is take one of my knives that I designed and make it part of the sticker. And not to show off and say I'm awesome, because there's people that do that, like Loot Tintex. Man, that guy, I'm lurking a lot on some of his lives, and he is just like I would do for piping or framework or stuff like that, because I'm doing it all day long at work. He's very adept at how to make changes and looking at things and saying, oh, that won't work. I think I need a lot more experience, but the thing is, I'm at work all day doing this stuff, and then I get home and I don't want to do it. I don't want to spend the time on it. Oh man, retirement will be something where I can spend some time on things like that. Hopefully, I will have the energy. All right, so where are we at? 400. We still got a ways to go. We're at 20 minutes, and maybe we can do it. Obviously, you know, a lot of people will come on the video and they'll watch for a few minutes and they'll just go on to the next thing. And I get it. I mean, I kind of have like an ADHD thing going myself, I'm pretty sure. Where a lot of times what I'll do is I will watch for a little bit and then I'll flip over to some other videos and then come back. But I got this thing about finishing what I start for most part. You know, if something I'm interested in or somebody I'm trying to support. But sometimes I have to take it in pieces. So that's just the way I do on some of the longer videos. So I understand if any of you guys are doing that with my videos. 30 minutes is on the longish side, especially on in this day and age where there's so many people doing shorts, and shorts seems to be such a popular thing because people are watching Instagram and all that kind of stuff, and they just don't want to spend a lot of time. Okay, we're bumping up 600. They don't want to spend a lot of time watching somebody doing the sharpening on a knife, which you have to go through those grits, and just talking about, you know, their own personal life. And everybody's got their own personal life, so why would you want to hear about somebody else's? But that's kind of where this channel goes. And clearly there are some of you that do enjoy, and I appreciate the support, because yeah, I wouldn't do it if it weren't for the fact that some people say, yeah, I do like watching your videos. You know, I like to hear the stories. You know, especially with sharpening, because it's like, you know, I could just sit here quietly and sharpen, but that's not going to be fun for me either. So won the giveaway. That happened to me when I went to Texas Blade Show. I won a couple giveaways, and I can't remember. I think it came after I got back. So I guess I got to go to more shows, huh? That's pretty cool. I know there's a knife in there, Mini Centros from Dylan Mallory. Man, I've been watching that one too. I had my eye on that one, so very cool. CJRB, good stuff. Just a really good budget brand from an excellent company, Artisan Cutlery. You know, they're in my popular brand case. I got a lot of stuff from them. So I like Dylan's designs big time. So this is pretty exciting. And then all the swag, of course. I did get a little one from Zach when I kind of won the second martial law giveaway part. Don't remember exactly all the details. El Cap Attic was the one that kind of won it for me, as he said he was you know, doing his entry for me, because he's a great guy. I had a great experience with him when he was one of my first giveaway winners, and man, I was so surprised because he came back with stuff for me. I mean, he sent me stuff. It's like I won the giveaway. You know, he did. I'm not gonna go into detail because I think he's a pretty humble guy, and he's not usually looking for credit or anything like that. Didn't see him at the live today, but anyway. So anyway, the numbers game, maybe second time I ever won the numbers game. It's not something that normally happens. Always just kind of overthink it. the girlfriend, she's always like kind of lurking as well in the background, and she's going, well, you pick your number, and then I'll pick my number, and then she's always going for somebody's birthday or something like that, and it's usually related to the cat because the cat's number one around here. And so she gave a number, and I'd had one that was not a birthday because number was 476, I believe. You couldn't have that as a birthday, right? It's just not a number that's on the calendar, right? So yeah, I just kind of came up with I was actually going to do like a lower four number, and I was watching some of the numbers going across the screen. You're always guessing, is it going to be low? Is it going to be low? Is it going to be high? And I saw some other numbers, and I was going to do something a little lower in the 400s, and I saw some other people doing it, so I thought, maybe I'll try something that's a little bit further away from what people are guessing. And I came up with that number just out of the blue. I don't like. I used to do like the 333s or something. Something very much like that. But I don't think when people are picking the numbers, they are kind of doing it random too. So I don't know. I'm not going to be able to recreate the experience for sure. But I am super stoked. I am so stoked. Sent out the email. Yeah. Get to see Zach again. First time I met him was at Blade Show West. And he is going to be there this year. I think the last time, because I didn't get there last year, but the year before that, I don't think he was there that year. Unfortunately, I missed last year. It seemed like it was a good show last year, but I think I had to buy a new car. That kind of like puts a dent into your financials. I am feeling a little bit strained financially. Right now, I'm trying to do this, Faulkner 5 and save money. And I got some stashed away. But, man, it's tough. This year's tough. It's like when people are talking about buying knives in the secondary. It's hard to sell in the secondary. The competition is pretty stiff. And you got to drop those prices. And it's hard, when you know what the value of that knife is. I mean, it's hard to drop it down that low. One of these days I'll get into that secondary. And I'm pretty sure that I will be pricing to move, But then it's probably just going to be stuff that I'm really, really willing to, at least at first. I'm so afraid of selling something and then regretting it. I know so many people that talk about that. Some knife that they had, and maybe at the time it seemed like, oh, just, maybe I can get that knife again or something, and then all of a sudden you can't get it, and and you realize how much you really like that knife. That's probably what is keeping me from moving forward on that selling thing. Feeling pretty good, guys. I might try to we're getting higher grits. I'm going to go ahead and accelerate a little bit. If I need to go back and touch it up a little bit with the higher grits later, I will do that. Get some of these long swipes on here. See how it's feeling now. Feels good there. Feels good there. Okay. Why don't we go up? So we are currently at 600. So I think we're this is the top. This is the 800. This is the finest grit I have, and then I have the ceramic. I'm not really even sure if it's necessary to do the ceramic, but I usually will throw a couple passes on that. Kind of get more into a polishing. Ooh. So I got to adjust this thing. It's falling off. It's got these little things on here, if you can see it, like an O-ring, but they made them a little bit different. They were O-rings in the last one. Now it's more like a collar, because I don't want to be falling off. But I'm kind of getting into more of a polishing mode when I get up to the higher grits. And you can see kind of more of a faster pace sort of thing. Because at this point, you're not taking off a lot of metal. You're almost kind of just refining. And if you spend some time with it, you can really get that mirror polish. It doesn't make that much difference to me. I just want to, I kind of like a toothy edge in general. I really want to up my sharpening game. So maybe if I spend more time, I'll realize, like I've heard people say, certain steels, you don't want to go above a certain grit and that kind of thing. And maybe I'll write that stuff down so I'll have a place to go research and go find that information. Getting that kind of, those polishing more. Yeah, so you get, even with that fine stone, you'll get a burr pretty darn quick. Once your apex is really fine, then it'll burr over really quick and easy. I'm just really going light on this. Just want to take off the burr. Yep, that's off. Do one more pass on the other side. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. I think this is the first one where I've really gone through the whole sharpening process, but I thought I'd do it at least once. And this one did need a little TLC for sure. So I thought this would be a good one to do that with. It's funny how it's on both on the LMAX. I don't know if that's a thing. If it's really supposed to be like M390, I wouldn't expect it to not have edge retention. But the deal is that I am using this knife a lot more than I would a regular EDC, just because I do want to. I'm getting to know the knife. It's the Faulkner 5. I'm spending more time with the knife, and so therefore I'm going out of my way to really find some good cutting tasks. Obviously, we do the cut test now. But, you know, the cut test, you can see that it was already a little dull from that. But I had already been carrying it for like 3-4 days of probably more use than I would normally do on an everyday carry knife, just because I'm getting to know this knife. All right, we got boom, boom. Maybe on the next one they'll have it. You just push a button and it does all this stuff for you. It's probably not good. You probably want to be part of the experience, right? All right, we're getting real close, guys. You can hear that it's much quieter. Much quieter. Let's see if we got a burr. Yeah, maybe a slight one. So I'm just gonna like do 1 or 2 passes on each side. We'll strop it a little bit. We'll cut a little paper, and then we'll call it a day. Moving on to the switch over tomorrow, because tomorrow's Monday. Okay. Gotta go back. Flip. Boom. It is really easy. This device has really streamlined this whole process. Feeling good. And it feels good to do it, to give that fresh edge on a knife. Looks pretty clean, nice and even. It's good to do this on a day when it's daytime, because I get a little bit of light from outdoors, so you can kind of see the reflection on that secondary bevel. Looks nice. All right, let's get some paper, and we'll call it. Nice comments from people. This is such a great community. when I won the giveaway, people saying really nice things. I mean, I know it's not just me. They're just a nice bunch of people. But yeah, people saying nice stuff. It's just, and you know, Bees is always talking about, oh, it's like Cheers, where everybody knows your name, you know. And I'm not like the most active person in lives. That feels pretty good. Much better than the cut test, right, guys? Oh, I didn't strop it yet. That'll help too. Where's my strop? I got this old Bieber craft. I like this one. I like this. I mean, it's seen a lot of abuse. Probably needs to have some more compound put on it. And I do have some diamond emulsion and stuff like that. I just haven't really gotten too much into that. But man, a good stropping on a knife really makes a difference. Let's see if we notice it here. Woo! That feels good. All right. Oh, I heard the difference. It is nice and quiet. Let's see if we can do some twists and turns. I'm not the expert at doing the cut test, but yeah, we can. Look at that. Ooh, that's nice. And then we'll try to do a couple of little curly cues. Woo! Man, dude. Dude. My California is coming out, right? Calling you dude. Yo, dude. Oh, man. My whole family's from North Carolina. But I've lived all my life in California, but that's where they're from. So I can drop into an accent. Oh, look at that. What do we got? The Tenacious. Awesome. All right, guys. Wow, fun. Thank you for being part of this. We're done with number 3. That means 2 more weeks of knife carries coming up, and man, I think this giveaway is going to really keep my spirits up as I struggle with not buying. Man, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, I always say that, you know, edge retention is great, but as long as I can bring it back, and the action on this thing is so good, man. I dropped it on my finger, and that thing's still struggling to recover. It went in. It just the weight of it dropping, because it drops so nice after the cleaning. It just moves, and it went in. Boy, it was up here, so it was sharp then. Maybe I dulled it on my finger. I don't know. All right, guys, thank you so much. Enough talking. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.